Hello, hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Hello, and
Good
welcome.
afternoon.
Afternoon. I don't even know what time of the day it is. I don't know anymore. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Talent Talk Day 29. I am Ashley Diaz. We have Jurgen Robinson, your boy Steve Chung, and the lovely Davina Clarity.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
See, we don't even know. It's fine. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to send this over actually to you, Davina, so you could give us the word of the day.
Well, yes, we do have a word of the day. You know what? This is live, isn't it? I just completely keep talking. No, our word of the day. Jurgen, can you help me out a little bit here? I forgot to pull it up on my thing.
It is. I will help you right here. Watch this.
Veridity.
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 This is how we learn to
get that D in there. Yeah.
It's like a speak and spell.
Veridity. What's the definition? What does veridity mean?
Okay, so we have.
I can do this. I got it now. Okay, here we go. All right, so veridity is. Hold on. I got the wrong word again. Okay, never mind.
You know what? I got it here in front of me. Veridity, and this is going for Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It's the quality or state of being green.
Yeah.
The quality or state of being green. The color of grass or foliage. Naive innocence. So I'll read this directly from Merriam-Webster's. It's veridity is simply a highfalutin way to say greenness.
Highfalutin?
Highfalutin? Is that what that is? Highfalutin? Thank you, Jurgen.
You're welcome.
Highfalutin way to say greenness in both its literal and figurative senses. So greenness goes all the way back to the Old English from green, a word akin to the Old English growan, to grow. Veridity did not enter the language until the 15th century, when it was adopted into the Middle English as veridite. The ultimate source of veridity in Latin veriditius is greenness, itself drawn from the root viridis, meaning green. Viridis is also the source, by way of Middle French verdoyant, of English verdant, as well as verdancy, another fancy synonym for greenness.
You know what? You sounded like what would that be? Like Eastern European? Verdancing.
That's what I was going for too.
Verdance.
I hit my mark because that's where I was going with this one. I wanted to get that flair.
We see a lot of veridity on our screen.
So glad you did that, Steve. That was priceless.
Yeah. You know, it was done with the second definition of veridity, which is naive innocence.
Veridity.
Oh.
How many times can we use veridity in this podcast and throughout the day? Sometimes when we're doing this podcast, it feels like veridity, greenness, green, meaning fresh and new, young. I don't know, veridity.
You know what? It's the day today.
I'm going to toss this over to someone with the our national holiday.
Davina, today is April 3rd, 2020.
I don't know if I deserve to be on here with you guys today. Let's see.
Amy T. Meyer, I am not autodidactic with vocabulary. Not at all, obviously.
Audio didactic.
Didactic.
Audio didactic.
Autodidactic.
we're going to find out what Amy is talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, we didn't learn you yet.
Yeah, we didn't learn you yet. So, today's national holiday. What is it?
It is National Movie Theater Day. Okay, and you know what? Here's the question. Is it theater or is it theater?
Depends on where you're at.
Oh.
Theater.
Theater. Not theater?
You sound like you're saying the same thing.
I think it's theater when it's in English and it's spelled with a T-E-R. I think it's theater when it's kind of that more English spelling. Like it's spelled on this on the banner right now. I could go with that.
I say theater.
See, I say theater. You actually say theater?
I do.
That's the fancy way.
I know.
Really?
She just likes a lot of syllables. She's polysyllabic.
Theater. Okay. But yes, today is National Movie Theater or Theater Day. And we've got a trivia question that goes along with our national day.
Oh, all right.
So the question is on your screen, and it has to deal with drive-ins. You know what? You millennials may not even know what a drive-in is, and may not even have been to a drive-in.
McDonald's has a drive-in, right? Oh no, that's
okay.
I'm offended.
Have you been? Okay, you've been to a drive-in before?
Yeah, I've been to a couple.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected. But you're on the older side of the millennials, though, right?
We have drive-ins back home too.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
True.
All right. So here's the question. By 1955, there were about 5,000 drive-in theaters in the United States. And how many are there now? So if you want to put your question or the answer to that question in the chat, and we will revisit that towards the end of this broadcast. So
cool.
All right. So I'm going to throw it over to Jurgen. We've got we have mystery guests today.
We have guests today, everyone.
Yeah. You know what? We said mystery right now, but if you've been watching and paying attention, you would know we are about to bring in a couple of positive people. They vibe so much with our wavelength, and we're really happy to introduce in. Here we go. Mark and Helen Ireland. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome.
Hey, Jurgen. Hey, team. How's it going?
Hey.
Happy National Movie Theater Day.
You're my kind of people, see.
You guys definitely have a lot of fun on this, and
this is awesome. This is awesome.
During this time, that's what it's all about, is being able to just relax, have fun, and not get too stressed.
Right.
Really?
Can we just talk now? Kind of tell you.
I mean, with the impact. So one of the things is we daily we just try to give a little information about what's going on. We're really happy to start bringing on some guests along the way and getting some different points of views. Real estate has been impacted a little bit through, the impacts that we're going to feel in real estate are, we're feeling some now, but we're going to start feeling more as this continues. The impact for you guys was a little more immediate. Like, you mind talking a little about how, as a gym, a local community, actually 4 local community gyms, how things are going and what you've been doing during this time?
I'll take that part then, I guess.
Go for it.
Obviously, we own 4 Anytime Fitness gyms locally: DuPont, Yelm, Spanaway, and Milton. March 16th, we were mandated to close the gym down for the stay-at-home anthem to keep everyone safe, and we understand that. So with gym businesses, the majority of the income comes from memberships and training and being in the gym. So it did impact. It came to a complete halt as of March 16th. So what we thought of is, obviously, what can we do while the doors are shut, realizing that this time, talking to many other business owners, you've got to be able to somehow release that stress and anxiety. And we do know that exercise is a way of releasing the stress and the anxiety. And we believe in staying positive this whole time. So how do you actually stay positive and give back to the community? So what we've done is we've kept our staff on, and we have our awesome coaches and our class instructors, and they're very raw at this, because just like most of us, we've never gone on
Well, it's kind of
live.
like this. It's awesome. It's what's the word of the day? Veridity.
Veridity.
Green. Naive.
But we
I got it in. I got the plug in.
we all wanted to give back to the community somehow, so they all said, of course we will. So we have our coaches going on, and they're doing functional training, they're doing strength training, we've got yoga instructors out there, we've got Zumba, we've got coaches doing healthy cooking right there in their kitchen, nutritionists answering questions. But this is so, I guess, perfect for this timing, because everyone's at home. So today we had, for example, our one of our coaches using cans of green beans for the weights, and we've got someone using water jugs. You've got a dog popping in while they're in the middle of doing yoga classes. We've got our husbands coming in with the yoga instructor, not realizing they're on live, so things were happening. You're doing whatever we can do to make you laugh, but also let's get that workout in. Let's just stay active during this time. From what, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I mean, the whole deal behind it, as Helen was saying, is it's, our belief is let's make healthy happen. That's what we do. But our doors are shut. So it's let's make healthy happen at home, as well as let's isolate together, because we're, it's hard. I mean, I'm blessed. I get to be at home every day with Helen. 24/7. I'm very, very lucky with that, right? But I love seeing your guys' smiling faces too, So we thought we'd bring a little bit of that to the community, and we launched it Monday. Monday was our first day. All 4 clubs are rocking sessions, and in 2 days we've had over 25,000 viewers.
That's
so
awesome.
They're out there pumping it.
And they can see it in the scroll down below. All you need to do is go to anytimefitness.com, and then you can see all the gyms. And your gyms are the DuPont, Yelm, Spanaway, and Milton gyms, right?
Yeah, we're using the Facebook Live platform. So if all they have to do is like our Facebook page for one or all of the clubs, and then they have access to all of the workouts that we're offering, and it gets quite entertaining.
They'll need to follow the page though to actually see, like, that when they go on live. But I recommend they at least go on and go to all 4 pages, because we have Zumba instructors in one, we have nutritionists in one, they may not want to do a 5 a.m. workout, which they can go back and watch it later. But they may see that, actually there's a yoga class in the Spanaway Facebook, so I'll hit the Spanaway one on. So we try to cover all aspects of,
and just spreading it out throughout the day, and we record it so that, again, folks can go back and participate. It's our way of getting back to the community.
And this is a great way to keep, because a lot of you have your kids at home right now that need some kind of exercise. We're having families watch the live Zumba class or the yoga class or the weight training, and they've got their family doing the whole thing together. We're keeping it where you don't have to have the actual weights. You can do, like we said, cans of green beans. You can use tires, things like that. So to get the whole family involved.
I know people want to stay healthy, and they want to do something. A lot of times it's kind of intimidating to think about it. Even going to the stores, I went to the stores to try to find some additional. There are no weights or anything to be found.
Oh, it's a hot commodity right now. Everybody's building up their little gym fortress at home, so they can get the workout in, which is really good. What we're trying to provide is the education side of it, as well as not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally. The mindfulness, creating that sense of community so we can keep everybody together. When this went down, you asked how were we impacted, and Helen said earlier, you know, we were told, hey, you got to shut your business down. Boom. I'm going to be straight up. Every emotion, negative emotion under the sun came over, you know, anxiety, fear, helplessness. And it was like, oh my gosh, this can't be happening. This is not real. This is not true. And had to accept the fact that it is. And we're going to get into this a little bit later, but, you know, the mindfulness part of it, I had to reach back out to some mentors of mine. One is Darren Hardy. Another is Ed Milet. And I started listening to some podcasts, you know, to get my mind right. The power of positivity, the power of optimistic thought, because it's easy during these times to go down that negative, dark rabbit hole. And that's not a good place to go, right? Yeah. So one of the things I was listening on a podcast with Ed Milet, he was interviewing Alex Rodriguez, the Hall of Fame baseball player. And they were conversing with one another. And I mean, it was current. It's happened while we're down. And they came up with, you know, in times when you feel helpless, you need to be helpful. Because if you're focusing on helping others, you're not worried about yourself. You're not in that helpless mentality. And that's when Helen and I started talking, and we do Zoom meetings with our managers 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I was sharing with them, you know, about this. And it's like, what can we do? I've got this crazy idea. We've got this crazy idea. What if we were to do some virtual sessions? And at first it was to connect with our members so we could keep them upbeat and positive. But then with today's social media, you know, you can reach anybody and everybody. So the idea was, you know, thrown out there. Why don't we just reach out to the community, everybody? All they got to do is like our page. Doesn't matter if they're a member or not. Let's get a workout on. Let's talk. Let's just connect and engage so we can keep as many people as we can out of that negative rabbit hole, right? And that's what we came up with it. I pitched it to my coaches, and everybody was, hell yeah. I am in. Let's do this.
You know, Mark, one of the great things is, you know, you guys are actually going live every once in a while too. And every time I've seen you jump on, you're always so positive. I mean, from reading suggestions to whether it's just an inspirational word or such. And to me, that's hugely important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You know, you got to share the gospel, right? You just can't say it. You got to live it. You got to practice it. And, you know, saying being positive or optimistic can sound a little fluffy. I'm not talking about, you know, the what is it, Pollyanna? Oh, you know, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. It's practicing it. You really have to believe it because, you know, you can approach any situation one of 2 ways. You can come at it in a positive attitude, and we can do, or you can come at it as, man, this sucks. I don't want to do this. And the outcome will represent the attitude you put into it. You can hear I think Amazon's here.
If your mindset is bad, you're going to see bad things. But if you keep it positive, you're going to find the positive out there. As we're rolling in here, if anybody in Facebook has any questions, because you guys are really living it on the front line right now. As business owners, everything else, you're incredibly impacted. So if anybody has any questions, before we kind of move into some headlines, because we want to keep you on and have some input on the headlines too. Steve, Davina, Ashley, you got anything for Mark and Helen before we go?
Yeah, I do specifically. You had mentioned on your Facebook page, you know, people can actually join in on workouts. Can you share a little bit more about, you know, to anyone who's interested in actually starting a workout tomorrow or even today, where do they go?
Well, what they can do is go to, there's Uncle Tommy behind us.
Hi, Uncle Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
Tommy's going into the closet. He's about to come out of the closet.
That's a whole other show.
You can go to our Facebook page, Anytime Fitness Milton, or Anytime Fitness DuPont, Anytime Fitness Spanaway, and Anytime Fitness Yelm. Yeah, Milton.
I don't know.
So you go to the Facebook pages, and at the top of the page, we have a weekly calendar that's pinned to the top of the page, and you can see what sessions or classes are being offered that day or for the entire week. And then you can set up your alert so that when it goes live, you'll get that alert, and you can just jump right in and go for it. So we've got a lot of good fun stuff, and it's not just workouts either. You know, we have 2 times a day trainer talk where a coach just comes on and talks about mindfulness or does a Q&A.
There's actually one of our nutritionists actually does cooking, and she'll give you ahead of time the grocery list, so you can go a day before, get the groceries, and then cook it with her, so you can see how you do it healthy to cook and make your dinner or whatever.
So we're, just mixing it up so we can help out both, physically, mentally, the whole deal. So health and wellness, it's all encompassing.
Yeah, and you're talking about right over here, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which one is he on?
Now that's our website.
You need to go to the Facebook. The Facebook's where the
So the Facebook link is actually in the comments.
That's awesome.
Good job.
Okay.
I am
Awesome.
pumped about this. I've already liked all your pages just now,
Thank
and
you.
I will totally be doing. I think
You
some
can go
yoga.
back
I think I'm gonna jump in some yoga.
Go back
Nice.
and view the
And what I shared with when we went live Friday to announce we were doing this, it's our gift to the community. It's our way of giving back, of being helpful during these, uncertain times. And all we ask is that you just share and invite a friend in so that we can get more people working out. I mean, it's funny. We got a shout out from Germany. We had some people in Germany working out. So that was pretty cool, So we're taking it global.
And remember, it's not in a studio. It's very raw. So
Yeah, it's coming live from our coaches' houses.
you're going to have a yoga instructor have a cat jump on her. It's quite funny.
It's fun.
That happens
I
every
love
day
it.
with us. Oh, I forgot to shut the door. I understand that our cat has been very loud in the background. It's like noise. I don't even hear it. All right. So you guys sticking in on some headlines?
Yeah, that's
in
great.
the world.
Let's jump into some headlines.
All right. Guess what? Watch this.
Headlines.
I love it.
The new toy.
Oh, that's brilliant. I still myself.
Good job, Jorgen.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what we've got is headline number 1, stimulus payment round 2, a rundown of 3 current stimulus proposals. This is in Forbes magazine. As I flip onto the other screen, what we see is in Congress right now, there are 3 different proposals for stimulus plans. It's very interesting thoughts. So the first one, apparently, that is over there, and this is through Forbes. The link is going to be in the article or in the chat. The Emergency Money for People Act, and that would provide $2,000 monthly stimulus checks for up to 1 year. And apparently, that is supposed to cover multiple adults in the home, possibly even up to children of 18 years of age or so. So that would be a big one, and that would be a very interesting one. Sometimes you look at these and you wonder, how do they get paid for, right? The next one is and apparently these are up there to be voted on. The Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act would cancel rent and mortgage payments for up to 1 year. That's another interesting thing. And then the last one is the Getting Back to Work Act, which would provide payroll tax rebate that covers 80% of payroll expenses, enabling businesses to more easily hire and retain employees. So, there's a lot of thought being given into how to best affect and to help people out. Apparently these are up as proposals. That doesn't necessarily mean anything more than, they're giving thought. And by the time a proposal ever makes it past their anticipation would be it would certainly be changed as well.
Mhm.
What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, agreed. They are proposals. They got them. I guess just waiting for the final word of what they're actually going to be doing would be definitely helpful. So just staying patient and waiting to see what the government does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always waiting to see what the government does, aren't we? That shook me so much my camera fell down. Let's see here. So headline number 2. Uncertainty abounds in the search for economic recovery timetable. And this comes to us from KCM, Keeping Current Matters, and their blog. And while I do a little screen share over there, what they're anticipating is from a poll, a Reuters poll of U.S. and European economists, they revealed the most are leaning towards a U-shaped type of recovery. So in a U-shaped recovery, it's going to look a little bit more like this, or this is kind of the way the poll shook out. So more than double of the closest, which would be a V shape. And in terms of the disparity, what they incorporate the data into the sciences is business science, how the economy rebounded from similar slowdowns in the past. And I don't even know how you equate a similar type of slowdown in the past, just from the lockdowns, everything else. When will COVID-19 be under control? Will there be another flare-up of the virus this fall? Of course, those are questions that are out there. And no, unfortunately, we just don't have a history to really tell us how this is going to go. And then social science, after businesses are fully operational, how long will it take American consumers to return to normal consumption patterns? Examples: going to the movies, attending sporting events, and flying. As much as anything, I mean, I think it's not even necessarily how long will it take for people to get back to doing that, as to when are they even going to be available to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that article, the bottom line that they kind of shared was that, excuse me, both the economists and the analysts believe that a recovery could take place anywhere from 6 to 18 months, but obviously no one is going to know that exact timetable until we get there. But it's not going to be a we're back to business. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not a light switch, that's for sure.
Nope. Yeah.
Now, as mentioned, Steve mentioned even the governor talking about the lifting of our own self-quarantine or stay home, stay healthy, and equating it more to the turning of a dial than the flipping of a switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just hang in there, guys. Stay positive. You'll find it. We'll be here with you. We'll just keep it going. Headline number 3 is UW releases coronavirus contact tracing app. I think this one is maybe a little controversial in what it is being looked over. Davina, you had a chance to look at this one a little closer, didn't you?
Are you sure you want to? No, I'm just kidding. Yes. It was, and from King 5, they basically, University of Washington has developed an app that is basically designed to alert people who may have come in contact with someone having the virus, and also keeping that person or persons on that app anonymous. So just reading from some of the information there, it just basically says that users who test positive for coronavirus can share that information with the app, and then the app will alert anyone who has come in contact with them within the past 14 days. And again, the developers don't expect everyone to download that app, but they believe that tool is going to be useful along with some public health contact tracing. It also says that anonymity would be maintained because it assigns each user a private code name, which changes every 15 minutes, and it would help keep a person's identity anonymous there. So it uses Bluetooth tracking and location logging. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, even with that, have some level of privacy concerns. And, for it to be effective, I think people actually have to use it, right? So if you can't get people to sign up, it's who knows.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Then we come to the fourth and the last headline, and our last headline is almost always kind of a group headline, something that is can add to the conversation, hopefully be a contribution to you. And in this one, this is from New York Times. It's a podcast playlist to help distract you for the most part. If you follow the link that you'll see in the chat, this is from the New York Times, and they have a ton of different podcasts. So whatever your interest might be, whether that might be in history, it might be maybe it's romance and fiction, maybe it is inspirational, positivity, maybe it is exercise. You have so many different podcasts are all over the place now. You've got a ton of choices, and this article goes on to highlight some of the best ones out there. And just guys, we've got some guests on here. Mark, you were mentioning, and Helen, when we were talking before, a couple of podcasts. What is it about the podcast, or which ones are you really listening to right now? And what are some of the reasons you're listening to those specifically?
Well, currently, I've got a couple that I listen to. One is I shared earlier, Ed Milet, the Ed Milet Show. I don't know, I connect with him. His, he's a successful real estate agent, multimillionaire, entrepreneur, and very positive vibes. Every morning I listen to my Darren Daly, Darren Hardy. I love that guy. I also, actually I signed up for his Extreme Productivity 12-week course. So I'm taking that. I'm taking advantage, honestly, of this downtime to immerse myself, to better my leadership skills, to better my entrepreneurial skills, so I can come out of this as a stronger leader, a stronger mentor for my team, and a better business operator, so I can provide better services for our members, our clients, and our community. Right. Awesome. I bounce different podcasts as well. It depends on the mood, right? I pulled up my app list right here. The Fitness Business Podcast, I like listening to that because it is relative to what I do. And I like to hear what on fitness owners are doing around the world during these times, because it's live, it's current. Another interesting one is Real AF with Andy Frisella. You want blue collar, tell it like it is. It's an interesting. It's great. He tells it like it is. It's Real AF. Yeah. Burna Brown. She's got a great podcast. I enjoy that. That's great for mindfulness and just thinking about just that life. And my buddy turned me on David Morris. He is the co-CEO and founder of Delano's Coffee Roasters, which is a local business. He was on the Real Man Project podcast recently, so he shared that with me. That's a very entertaining one as well. So, and not just podcasts. I'm into magazines, if you can see that. My men's journal, there's some good stuff. Entrepreneur Magazine. Yep. Got Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia on this month's edition. One of my hobbies is backpacking, so I've got to do my Backpacker magazine. And then I keep next to my bed the Morning Miracle. Yeah. But the Morning Miracle, it talks about practices and creating those habits, those daily habits to help you towards success. And getting up each morning, alarm goes off at 5. I've got a nice little chime that wakes me up, so it's not the foghorn, like what the heck is going on to start the day. I can start out a little, mellow, go brush my teeth. I come in and put on my headphones and listen to meditation music for about 10 minutes. That's awesome. Then after that, I break out my journal and I write. I do 10 minutes of scribing of just what I'm grateful for, so I can reflect on, every day I'm grateful, one, that I was able to get out of bed, but grateful for this day and the opportunities that it brings,
That sounds exactly like the morning miracle.
Yes, right. And then I get a workout in, because getting my blood flowing, that gets my mind right. And then get on with the day, connect with the team.
Nice.
I'd say one thing out of this being stuck at home, it's the interaction. I've been forced to learn more about this kind of thing. We have StreamYard going on right now. I never heard of it until today. And thank you, Jürgen, for turning us on to it. But
You're
Zoom, we've been doing Zoom meetings every week. Now I've got a subscription to Zoom so that we're working on putting together a program so that we can start doing one-on-one coaching with our trainers and clients, But before it was like we would come together once a month as a team over at the hotel conference room, and we talk. Well, now we can do it 2-3 times a week through the Zoom and see everybody's faces, right?
You know what? You mentioned Zoom as a suggestion. You might try. I'm not sure how it would work for you in Zoom, but they have breakout rooms. So if you're doing some coaching, you might actually be able to help people in a more individualized fashion at the same time by utilizing those breakout rooms.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You know what? You mentioned Burna Brown. I didn't even know she had a podcast, so I'm definitely going to tune into that. Ashley, you held up your phone. You looked like you had a bunch that were on there.
Yeah, I'm I don't listen to all of them, but it's like, if you like this, check this out. So it's like, all right, download it. When I get a moment, I'm going to do it.
Mark, how did you get Ashley's list?
So with this being down, also the clubs aren't open. We're taking advantage of doing some deep cleaning. I've got some new equipment coming into some of the clubs. We're relaying out the design of the clubs. So I'm driving into the clubs each day. That's part of keeping my routine going.
Yep.
So I'll pop in a podcast, get 23 minutes, 24 minutes in while I'm going. And then on the way home, I'll finish it up. And then that's our pillow talk at night. Guess what I learned today?
Well, watch this. You're about to learn something more. Ashley, what was on your list? What was on your list that Mark didn't already see?
Well, kind of like Mark, I have there's nothing I don't think consistently that I'm listening to. I'm definitely bouncing around. Megan actually had mentioned one that I really enjoy listening to, and it's her Boss Ladies and Babies. So her and Mickey have a podcast that I was actually on a couple weeks ago. We had a ton of fun. But they just talk about mom life and being a entrepreneur. So just managing being a mom and running your own business. So that one is a really fun one that I like to do. And right now, what I've really been doing, I've lived a bunch of different places, so I've attended a bunch of different churches. So it's been really cool to go back to some of my churches and listen to sermons. Kind of one thing I'm trying to do in the morning to kind of get that mindset positive. Another one, it's really just filled with like Christian leadership. I really like anything with that base. Christian business. So, I mean, there's so much. I'm not going to go through all of them, but because we'd be here all day. But when I do find a moment, and I'm not going to pretend for 2 seconds that I do it every day, but I definitely, when I find a moment, just try to get something inspirational, motivational,
nice
in my head.
Nice.
And Elizabeth, we are truly a blessed team. They both do so much for us through their leadership. That's awesome.
Love you, Candace.
Thanks.
Yeah. I think we're full of positive people, and to keep positivity, the only way to spill positivity out of you is to fill yourself with positivity to give. So, both Steve and Davina, both are incredibly big lights for me as well. Let's start with Davina first. What are you listening to, Davina?
Probably should do a little bit more listening than I actually have. I can say kind of on the same line as Ashley as well is I haven't bounced around and been going from living in state to state, but some definitely faith-based leadership. We're going through a study right now, a podcast called Propel, and it's a women's podcast that we've been listening to, and just anything that can help with, again, kind of like the mind monsters that I tend to battle up against every day. So again, just trying to stay positive. There are definitely a lot of things out there where you can escape, but for me, it's things that are actually going to be a little bit more real. So Propel is one that I'm actually going through right now. We're actually doing another study. Oh gosh, I forgot his name. It's actually about anxiety and warning off being anxious. So those are just a couple that I've been listening to for the last couple of weeks.
Nice. Yeah, and if anybody's curious about any of the podcasts, ask me questions and we'll get you links, because this is in addition to all the links that are being provided by the New York Times themselves. Steve, you've always got a positive word. To get those words, somebody's got to give them to you. Oh, except you are kind of an inventor of words too, right?
I do. I make stuff up after. No. It's not that bad, is it?
No.
No, but for me, when I think of podcasts, there's only a couple podcasts I listen to. And books more so. So the podcast I think about is more real estate related, like the Tom Ferry. I listen to some Gary Vee. I just actually picked up this one because the one that Mark mentioned, the Real AF with Andy Frisella. So I'm gonna start tuning into that one just because I like people who just real and but kind of like Gary Vee along that lines.
Actually, Steve.
Yeah.
Real quick, on today's Ed Milet podcast, Gary Vee was his guest.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mental toughness is not optional. All right. I think that's what I'm seeing. So I'll be listening to that.
Nice.
But books on like real estate, leadership, communication styles, and just diving in more of the skill sets just to help become a better leader, manager, just so that I can help people out. Just whatever I can do, asking better questions. So just making sure it's positive. And if it's not positive, well, then I'm going to the other end where it's just like dark, dirty humor, just.
We're just going in the gutter here.
That's right.
Did I hear my name? Did somebody say something? Did you say my name?
No, you took a shower.
Okay.
What is that? That fifth grade, that 5-year-old, 10-year-old humor. Yes.
Yeah, grade school humor. It's or middle school humor, pretty much.
That's right.
Yeah. On my side, I think everybody kind of covered a lot of what I listen to. I'm actually looking forward to listening to Burna Brown. I've enjoyed the times that I've heard her speak and some of her books. One of them, what is it? It's Daring to Soar, right? Just her touch, and she's just such a relational person. So definitely, I'd like to listen to that a little bit. Who else have I? Brendan Burchard. So many of them are like Gary Vee, things that have been also mentioned. Oh, you know what? There is one. If you want, it's a little bit different, and it's meant to keep focused on, they say kind of in terms of like wealth and that, but it's kind of interesting to listen to. There's one called Alux, ALUX.com. I would highly recommend. They're pretty quick. A lot of times they identify mistakes people make as they're trying to build wealth or growing along, just because we get very caught up into the now rather than the future. So yeah, beyond that, there's a lot to listen to feed yourself in. The big thing, like Ashley was mentioning, or Davina, is we got to do it though. Like we got to make that commitment and just get intentional with it. And we're driving around or we're sitting around listening. My wife Donna had mentioned, sometimes, especially because it's been such a long self-quarantine, sometimes we have to turn the TV off because our eyes start rolling out of our heads. And yeah. Okay.
Jordan, you nailed it. I have to limit myself to about 15 minutes of news a day because it can quickly just go down, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, give me the update. What's going on? Are we opening the doors? Yes or no? That's all I need to know.
You are never going to hear a straight answer, are you?
And if it's well, we're researching the data. Okay, that's all I need to know. Boom, done. Let's go do something. Let's go do something productive. So,
hey, Davina, what was the podcast? Courtney Schnetz. Hopefully, I said that right.
You did. Very good.
Courtney.
Courtney's our rock star manager out of Spanaway. Team Spanaway represented.
And Milton was on there. That's for Candace.
Yeah, Candace is Team Milton.
We kind of spread your guys' podcast everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
So so one of them is Propel Women, and it's about activating every woman's passion, purpose, and potential. And there's a few different leaders. They're wives of pastors and actually pastors themselves, and just they lead this podcast, or it might even be more of a it's kind of linked to a convention, and then they have it's really great. So what I'll do is I will send the link on once I find it. I have to go find the link, but we actually are doing a study on it right now. And so we're using Zoom, and we're breaking off into rooms like Jurgen was mentioning, and we're actually doing this as a group every week. So, but I will definitely put the link in, or get Christy to get the link, and she'll put it in so you could actually listen as well.
Nice.
Okay, and guess what? That is our headlines.
You're so happy with that, aren't you?
I am so thrilled. I had to download the DJ that air horn audio. I had to find a clip that was royalty free to put it together on, and then all I needed to do was record my own voice.
How long did that take you?
Shockingly, once I had everything together real quick, I used Adobe Rush, which is super easy to put things together on. So it was good.
I was mostly thinking about the recording of the headlines. And how many takes you needed for that one.
No, it was 2 takes, because the first time I did it, it was like, headlines. And it's like,
Hey, side note, that's what you get when you sleep on corduroy pillows.
yeah, headlines. Oh,
Headlines.
That's funny.
That joke.
Davina said a funny.
funny. All righty. So, kind of as we wrap through, before we get that, we had our trivia question from earlier. Christy, do we have any answers to, in 1955, there were about 5,000 drive-in theaters in the U.S. You'll see it on the scroll. How many are there now?
All right, so we had a few answers come in. We have 2,200, 528, 1,072, 310, 1,225.
Wow.
Oh, wait. Oh, there's more. 20.
20.
Are you guys ready for the answer? No.
Are we ready for the answer?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Drum roll, please.
All right. So the answer is 330.
Whoa.
Oh, 330.
That's
So-
a little bit different than 5,000.
Bonus question. How many drive-ins are in Washington State? I Googled this, so.
All right, be quick now, because we don't want you Googling it. How many? Be quick. Don't Google it. You've got like 5 seconds left to answer. All right.
Hey,
We're gonna
man.
What's the answer,
4.
Mark? 4.
Courtney won. That's funny. You were close. There are 4 drive-ins left in the state of Washington.
That's it.
Wow.
Amy's had 2. All right, 4. Good to know.
Just double it up. All right. As we wrap here, we've got a couple quick small updates before we get going. It is we had the TikTok challenge. I wish I'd have pulled it up real quick, but anybody, especially if you are in real estate, you need to check out the page. Christy's going to toss it up so you can link over and see the real estate TikTok challenges like that, and then so. It's the Savage Realtor Dance. So check it out. The challenge is out there. Are you going to accept? That is the question. And then last is an update for what we're doing with Foundation Heroes and the update for tomorrow. David, you got that?
Yep. So real quick, we are partnering with Foundation Heroes, nonprofit 501c3, created to really give back to those who really are setting up the foundation of our communities, our police, fire, medical, our teachers, and our first responders. I'm thinking our military. That was the reason why this organization was created. And because we have an opportunity to give back now in the situation where we're dealing with COVID, and our medical workers have been working tirelessly in the hospitals away from their families, and also becoming family members to the patients, because the patients' actual family members can't come into the hospitals and see their loved ones. So we had in the last week, we were able to give to Mary Bridge and Tacoma General. This week, which is tomorrow, we are going to be delivering lunch to St. Peter's Hospital workers in their sterilization unit. So, and the sterilization, let me clarify what the sterilization unit, they actually sterilize the equipment and the tools that are used on a daily basis in the hospital. So without them, our medical workers would not be able to have the tools that they need to help the patients. So we're doing that tomorrow. And if anyone is interested in being a part and partnering with us, any donation that you want to send up is all 100% tax deductible, and we'll be using those funds for tomorrow. And we're going to be continuing to give back to our communities and to people that have made a difference and that have given and sacrificed for us. So that's about it. And and just in tying that up, I want to just make a real quick note. Mark and Helen, Mark, you had made some statements, and I actually wrote them down. I feel like these are like Facebook, like put them on as your, like you said, in times when you feel helpless, you need to be helpful. And that is so true. And to just live a life, and that's how you actually do business. That's how you treat people. I thought that was really profound. I have 3 points that I actually took notes from you were just talking. So look at you working that leadership saying. And then you also said practicing positivity. That's so good. If you can just remember, in all situations that we get into, there's always a way to respond. And if we just practice positivity, that could be an automatic response, for us. And then the last thing is your outcome represents your attitude. So looking at the outcomes, a lot of the outcomes that we have, an outcome is an outcome, but our perspective on an outcome is definitely different. And so our perspective on outcomes definitely is a representation of attitude. So thank you for that. And you guys have really, and I can tell you, I've called Helen before. We've known you guys for a while. And I can tell you that, you say you go and you work out, and I know Donna and I have been in your gym, and you've been in there working out. And it's like, you know what, for an owner for you to run a business and you actually are doing what you say and preach tells a lot about a person and their character. So thank you for being true to who you are. And then, Helen, I've called you before, and it's been like, of course, my urgency of getting you on the phone is my urgency, as we all. But then you called me back and you said, I'm sorry, sorry it took me so long to get you back, but Mark and I were having our morning coffee, and that's our time. And that speaks hugely about you and your relationship and what's important to you. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, how much you guys are encouragers, how you live your lives is truly, you're living a legacy, and to share that is huge. So just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, let's see. Oh, you know what? There is one other thing, because with the and first and foremost, I mean, before moving on, I would absolutely echo what Daviana said within there. I mean, because, and this is one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on, because we know even if we're not able to showcase it as well as you live it, you guys are incredibly positive, and you inspire us. So we're really happy to have you aboard.
Well, back at you guys as well, and we're blessed to be a part of this, and this is our circle, right? You are your circle.
Yes.
This is awesome. You guys are awesome.
And for this is our first week using StreamYard. We haven't asked yet specifically. Let us know if you are enjoying the format, the way we've got it set up. Sometimes it can stretch a little bit longer, but you've been hanging in. If you like, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart. We really want to see. And there was a question earlier that I noticed that we didn't get to. And so we'll toss it out real quick. Israel Lopez asked, what is the outlook on new construction? And this is really kind of an opinion as opposed to a hard data-driven thing, because we still are waiting for new construction to be even opened up, right?
Yes. One of the great things is that Isley said is that they're working on that, and that's probably going to be one of the first things to open up, because that's probably going to be one of the first things to really carry us out of kind of the financial state that we're in right now. It'll lead us out. Housing is one of those big things. So new construction, that plays a big part in it. And I think once that opens up, that's going to open up a lot more doors for people to get the economy starting to move again. There's still a lot of buyers out there. If you're a real estate broker, I'm sure you can attest to that. I know a lot of the brokers that are within our company are still working with multiple buyers, still searching for homes. There's still a shortage of inventory. So I definitely think with new construction, once they're able to open up the doors to start building again, you will start to see the market pick up.
Yeah. Davina, Ashley, anything to add to that?
No, I think that's pretty much it. We just don't know when, but in response to that question is we will get back to it. And again, it's going to be slower. I think Governor Inslee did mention that, it's not going to be business as usual, but it looks like he's going to allow that to start soon, or that will be one of the first things to start after the decision is made to actually ease some industries back into work. That would be one of the first industries. But of course, there are going to be some safe, there are going to be some guidelines. So, I would expect, and this is just me, but, I would expect everyone to expect to have patience, because, the number of contractors that'll be allowed in the home at one time there may be a limit. So the amount of time that it takes to get construction completed might be, there could be a delay. So.
No.
So,
okay.
Ashley, anybody else? No? Okay.
So Israel. Waiting.
What's that? We're just
waiting. Just anxiously waiting.
Yeah.
All right. So in wrapping, Mark, Helen, it was awesome to have you aboard. I'm going to highlight you, and you got anything to say to end?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You know, as we said earlier, stay positive. We will get through this.
And as your mom would say, this
too shall pass, right? And as Steve threw up at the beginning of this, hey, it's all about the shaka, right? You got to keep that attitude. We stay positive, support one another. That's the key. We can't become selfish. We need to be selfless.
Yeah.
So that's my closing comments. So.
Yeah, see? I'm going to surprise you.
Do you want me to do a little dance?
Absolutely.
Or you want me to wrap this up?
No, really rap.
Well,
like rap. No, I'm just kidding.
Yo, baby, yo.
One day I will be prepared for this. I promise.
I'll beatbox for you.
Well, I can wrap it. Thanks everybody for. Oh,
I was about to beatbox.
Yeah,
I'm gone.
You know, as much as anything is, we're just happy to be here. We'll always have fun. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please let us know. We're here for you. Ashley or Davina, either of you want to take it home?
You go ahead, Ashley. You got this, girl.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Mark and Helen, that was awesome. Thank you for all the motivational words. I took a lot from this, so thank you. Thank you for everybody sticking in there, and we're going to end with a big be bold on 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Be bold.